let's get into this. Be good to hear Ben's views of Andre. So, Andre DOZZELL has been sold by Ipswich to QPR today. Andre DOZZELL has actually been around a long time. I can't remember whether it was 15-16 or 16-17. Made his debut for Ipswich, scored on his debut. We'd heard about Andre DOZZELL, obviously having to carry the name DOZZELL on the back of his shirt because Jason DOZZELL was a great player for Ipswich and came through at a stupidly young age. I think even scoring at age 16, still literally a schoolboy at Chantry School. I went to Chantry Sixth Form over in Ipswich. So a lot of expectation on DOZZELL from the Ipswich fans, either fairly or unfairly, but natural, especially when your father's been such a good player and came through in such a similar way. DOZZELL comes into the team, scores on his debut, and a bit of a sense he's going to be this number 10 guy, kind of tall but very slim and not necessarily built. And that was a narrative that followed him through his Ipswich career. Did he need to put on some muscle? Whether that's fair or not, I don't know. I mean, you can let me know in the comments or after the fact. And then what transpired was Andre DOZZELL failing to persuade Mick McCarthy to regularly put him in the team. And of course, the fans, as you do, kind of wanted to see the young guy come through. And Mick knows his football, obviously, and he's training with the guys every day. Didn't ever quite see enough. But DOZZELL got plenty of minutes, but never really, you know what you want to see as a fan of a club. You want to see the young guy come through and take everything by storm. Never quite happened. I remember Paul Hurst in his short tenure kind of saying quite sarcastically, but with hindsight, kind of rightly now, remember him bringing DOZZELL on in a game and big roar from the crowd, and Paul Hurst joking, is that all I needed to do to get a roar from the crowd? Play one of the youngsters. But so DOZZELL stayed. And then we got that new contract when Ipswich were in League One. And as it transpires, there was a buyout clause in it, wasn't there? So DOZZELL in League One, so still, and wasn't able to dominate a game. And forgive me if this sounds stupid, maybe better suited to Championship level with a thug or a whirly old midfielder next to him than League One, which can get quite rudimentary and quite physical. And maybe, or maybe I'm being an apologist for him here, maybe didn't suit him. But we all see moments and flashes of quality. The left foot receives the ball, head up, fizzes it through. You can see there's a player there, but for whatever reason, wasn't ever able to piece it together at Ipswich. And look, I've commented many, many times when people have asked me about Ipswich players in this era, this last bit, the last few years under Marcus Evans, post Mick McCarthy. And I've often said Ipswich players and youngsters particularly have not been in a position to succeed at Ipswich. You want young players coming in to a team with leaders that are playing well, hopefully winning at least some games. And, you know, given the support and success to be able to be put in and put out to thrive. And however good the players are, we kind of don't know until they leave. And hopefully there's a better circumstance for them to thrive in going forward at Ipswich. So it is so hard to say with players like DOZZELL. And we've obviously had people like Miles Kenlock, Josh Emmanuel leave and go and get promoted in League One with Hull. And we'll probably see Flynn Downs leave as well. I know Barnsley are interested there. So that's probably the story from the Ipswich side. From a QPR point of view, I think it's a good move. He's not moved far from Ipswich, obviously out to Shepherd's Bush and West London. And hopefully this isn't an unfair comment that he's gone from a Goldfish Bowl in Ipswich where, especially with who his dad is as well and the name on the back of the shirt, that he'll go to West London where he's a nobody. Do you know what I mean? He won't be recognised. There won't be the expectation. He's a player that's come in from League One, he's not going to be the best player in the team at QPR with Chair and Willock and Dickey there. It could be a really, really good move for him, providing he copes with London life and stepping out of Ipswich well, which is that's a human thing, not a footballer thing. So Mark Warburton, they play progressive football, they keep the ball. It'll be he'll get help in central midfield and some physicality around him. So hopefully it can be a really, really good move for Andre DOZZELL. Ipswich are obviously having their reset, and we suspect DOZZELL will be replaced by Raheem Harper if the money's come through now, who is at West Brom and been on loan at Birmingham. So the big hope for DOZZELL is it's a good move for him. For Ipswich, that it's a good move for them, and they can maybe invest some of the money in terms of replacement. And for QPR, it's a good move for them. And let's be fair to QPR, they've developed players well, haven't they? I know Eze was a bit of a one-off because he was so talented, wasn't he? That even in a bad situation, he might have still thrived. But they've brought him through. You've got to stick these young players, Bright Samuel, Eze, Chair. It's all very well having them. You've got to stick them in the team and develop them. And QPR has certainly done that better than the likes of Ipswich over the years. So that would be my take on Andre DOZZELL. And hopefully it works out for all parties, and it may well be the right time for a move. Let's see if there's any comments on anything I've said there. QPR forever. If we sign Johansson as well, plus keep DOZZELL and Chair, interested in midfield. Agreed. Yeah, a former England youth captain as well. Totally agree. He'll be better with better players around him. You would think he will thrive in that stuff. Well put, says Julian. I think QPR have a much better blend. QPR got a real Brentford vibe about them, and there's the lineage, isn't it? Mark Warburton, obviously, they're at the start of Matthew Benham's reign at Brentford. So that's my thoughts on Andre DOZZELL. Thank you for the question.